and I am super excited to bring you this special guest today. I've been trying to grab him for a long time. So, special guest, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Steve Royal from the pantomime in Blackpool Grand for the last 22 years, 27 years and counting of pantomimes in total.
Oh, Steve, how wonderful to have you. I feel like I've known you for years and years from afar. You're always, every time I go up to Blackpool, I see your face everywhere.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit disturbing. It keeps the kids away from the tram lines.
Oh, thank you for joining us today on CUPPA CHAT.
It's a pleasure. Always nice to talk about pantomime.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a nice place to forget about everything else that's going on and just have a bit of fun, really. Now, before we go
Absolutely.
any further, though, it's very rude of me not to ask you what you're drinking. And I have got a special cup, as I always do for all of our guests here today. I brought my Blackpool tram cup for you.
Oh, look at that.
I know.
Oh,
I
that's
think it's a
brilliant.
Bolt. This is a Bolton officially, but it's in Black. Oh, there it is. It keeps disappearing.
Yeah, I
In
can see
Bolton
that. Yeah.
officially. There we
Oh,
go.
I like that.
It's in Blackpool
Oh, well, I
officially.
feel a bit. I'm going to have to ask my wife to put. Can you make me a brew? Do you want me a brew? But I could do with it in a special mug. Put it in a Blackpool Grand Theatre mug. That'll be better, won't it? There you go. It's
This
a
is a
bit better
first.
themed.
This is a first,
Hmm?
Steve. Someone's getting someone to make them a drink.
Yeah, I know, I know. I've got a very obedient wife. Don't let her. No, don't hit me.
Oh,
I was. Do you
Steve.
know what? I would normally be having a cup of coffee, but we've got one of these coffee machines that makes so much noise,
Oh, yeah.
proper like. But it's a good cup of coffee, and I thought, oh, I can't have a coffee now because it'll interrupt the recording. So because I'm sat in the kitchen here anyway, so it'll just have to be a cup of tea. It's less
A cup of
noisy.
tea. So you don't mind cup of tea or coffee, then, is what we're saying.
I don't mind eating. Do you know what? I tend to be first thing in the morning. I can't function without a cup of tea. I have to have a cup of tea first.
Yeah.
And then shortly afterwards, I'll have my first cup of coffee. I
Yeah.
usually like to have a coffee around about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. And
Oh,
then I'm really coffee for the rest of the day. Yeah. But I've really gone off instant coffee though. I can't, I'm still to find, there's a couple that are not, that are close, but I would like a proper cup of coffee. Do you know what I mean? I like
and
the
does
frothy
coffee
milk
get
and
you
all that.
through Panto, Steve?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I always have it. Do you know one of the best years I ever did pantomime was with Vicky Entwistle a few years ago. And she had some friend who they lived in like Colombia or somewhere bizarre, but they were a coffee importer basically.
Mm.
And she used to bring these huge bags of coffee. And we just, oh my, I tell you what, I don't think I slept that year. It was so hyper. not,
Oh, and
not
she got you a
that, but,
rude mug.
yeah, I don't think she's realised. I'll show you the other side. I won't show you
Okay, you
that
show me the
side.
other side.
Right, that's that side. I don't show you the other side. I seriously cannot show you. But all I'm saying is the handle is the shape of a C. That's all I'm telling you. And what
Oh,
it says
dear.
Steve Royal is a big, undisputed national treasure. That's what it says. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well,
I'll just
fair.
remember to drink it with my left. But
Yeah,
it's got
don't.
my face on there.
It
That's me
has.
as
Look
Dan
at that.
Leno. That's me. That's me when I did pay tribute to. I did a play called the Royal Jester. Sorry, it was originally called the Royal Jester. And it changed its name to no, I'm forgetting it to Naturally Insane, and it was all about Dan Leno. Now, do you know? Do you even know? You must know Dan Leno.
I don't. Go on, tell me more. Tell
Have
me
you
more.
never heard of Well, Dan Leno, and this is the guy I'm impersonating on my mug there, was a one of the original creators of what we now know as pantomime, the modern pantomime. He lived in the late 19th century, early 20th century, died in 1904. And he was probably he was the biggest comedian in Britain at the time. And he was paid, even back then, he was paid thousands and thousands of pounds to do appearances. And he used to do the pantomime at the Royal Drury Lane Theatre
Mm.
every year. And yeah, as a result of that, it became known as Mr. Pantomime, if you like. And things like when the Dame, he used to do the Dame. So things like when the Dame's wig would fall off and things like that. These are all attributed to Dan Leno, who did it first. So there
Oh,
you go. And I
brilliant,
did a
brilliant.
play all about him, which was really good.
So we've got a lot to thank him really for what we all enjoy
Absolutely.
nowadays.
Absolutely. I've got not just to thank him for my cup. Not just me mug, but for so much as we all see pantomime these days. Yeah.
And Steve, before we go any further, the last time I saw you very, very quickly, you were running literally onto the stage to collect a pantomime award. Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. I mean, it was that the fact that I was running is testament to the fact that I was totally shocked. I never expected to win it because I've never even been acknowledged for the Panto Awards in the past. And I thought, there's no chance I'm going to get this. So I was actually doing an Easter pantomime at the time. I was performing in Bedworth, if they call it Bedworth, in near Coventry. And I had to drive down to Woking for the awards. And my wife came with me. She picked it up. She sounds like she just runs around after me, doesn't it?
It does.
She does have her own job.
Come on, give me tea. Get the car ready. Where's makeup?
So my wife
Come on.
She sounds like the most obedient of wives. Truly, she isn't. But anyway, she picked me up for the Panto, and as we're driving down there, she said, I really need the toilet. I said, oh, stop for time. I said, look, listen, if you're late for this, it doesn't matter. I said, we'll go to the after party. We'll just go to the after. And then, as I got closer, I'm getting more and more frantic texts from people at UK Production say, your award's up next. I'm going, yeah, whatever. And then when I arrived the funniest thing is when I arrived at the theatre, because this lady, proper as they always are on the stage door. And I got to the stage door, and this lady went, and who are you again? I said, I'm Steve Ross. I said, my category is literally next. I said, I've been running late because I couldn't make it to the start of the Panto Awards. And she goes, oh, right, now then, I've got a lanyard for you somewhere. Let me have a look. And starts looking. I'm going, just get me. And then one of the producers came running round, grabbed me, and just, yanked me through into the auditorium. I literally sat down. I got handed a beer, sat down, and then the awards categories came up, and I was straight up on stage. Yeah, my wife was still parking the car. But listen, when I actually came off stage, I went through these doors to do the media stuff, all the interviews and stuff. And my poor wife stood there behind the door. She said, what's happened? I said, I won it. She said, you won it. I said, were you not there? She said, no, this lady won't let me in because some man was speaking. I said, that was me. And I was doing all my dedication. I was dedicating it all to my wife, and partners in general who make it possible for us all to do pantomime every year. And yeah, so she missed my big moment, to be like.
It was wonderful because you could tell from an audience's point of view that you had literally just walked through the door, and you're like, I have no idea what's going on, but I've just won this thing, and it was wonderful to see. And credit to you. You've done a great job all these years, and you get these fantastic reviews. People come in to see you every year. You obviously did the Easter tour with Enchanted as well at that time. How do you keep everything fresh and exciting every year, Steve?
I think it's just you've got to love it, haven't you? You've got to love what you do. I hear that with so many people. And it's a lot of analogy recently about the footballers who are not playing football because of the wages and not getting this. And you're going, that's not what you do it for. You do it for the love. And I do pantomime. I love creating as well. I do love the creative side of things. And the rest of the year is quite lonely, isn't it? You're traveling around as a stand-up comedian, as I am. I travel from gig to gig, and the material tends to be the same because I don't have much chance to. But Panto is something where I have to create. I'm forced into it every year to create. The big pieces for me every year are the opening bit, whatever I do when I first come on, and opening chat. Then you've obviously got a script that you can at least base, basically mold yourself around, if you like. And then there's the song sheet at the end. You have to create something like that. But that's a challenge it's funny, because I seem to work to a deadline. I can, like at the moment, I've started to write some stuff for the pantomime this year, but my head just gets blocked, and then it'll come to like 2 weeks before, and all these ideas just start flooding. It's almost as if my brain is acknowledging what time of year it is, and it just does it. It just listen. One day it'll dry up, Gary. It'll dry up, and then where will we be? Eh? Who
will still
knows?
be on stage doing Panto.
Well, I'll say, yeah, I just go. I think that's the thing, isn't it? After it is ridiculous, really, because I think about it. So this year will be my 22nd year in Blackpool,
Mm.
and I still worry about repeating material. I'm thinking, well, even if I did what I did 22 years ago, I don't think many people are going to be bothered. I don't think many people, most of the audience weren't even born when I last performed the material, so I don't think it really matters, does it?
But that shows you what you are as a performer. You know, you care about the audiences, and I'm sure it depends on who's in your cast with you that year as well, who you're
Mm.
working with. Does it change when you get another name that comes in with you, or do you try and distance that a little bit?
You have to shut it off a little bit, especially if you're in awe of the person. I mean, a couple that I've been in, Mel Walters is so good in Gavin and Stacey. Is such a brilliant actress. So when I worked with her, I was like, not intimidated is the wrong word, but I did enjoy actually working with and learning from her. Really, I did learn a lot of comic timing from her. And people, Amanda Barry, went years ago when I worked with Amanda Barry, I think this is from growing up. This is Cleopatra, and Carry On Cleopatra. This is like people I watched on telly as a kid. It is fascinating. But then there are certain people I work. I mean, the classic example I always go to is Tom Lister. Me and Tom Lister seem to have a chemistry. We work so well together. I mean, we're on the phone with each other. There's never a day goes by where we don't contact each other in some form, and we just click and we just have the same sense of humor, and so. I think when you're really comfortable on stage with someone, and you have to be, the most of the roles I've done with Tom, of course, he's been Captain Hook and I've been Smee. So you have to, because you're basically doing all your scenes together. So you have to get on with them. Although last time when we did Aladdin, that was a bit of a challenge really, because the script didn't have many scenes with us in together. So we kind of crowbarred a few in and put a few sketches in the middle of it, if you like. It was maybe perhaps a little bit disjointed that year, but we had a laugh, so we always do. Yeah, so there's some people who I really work really well with and bounce off so well. And then there's those, you also have to acknowledge the very skilled actors and performers who give me space as well.
Mm.
And not everyone can do that. Some people have to, you have to acknowledge that they need the script exactly right. You need to and for those I have to bow down. But those who let me go off at a tangent, I think generally speaking, they know that I'll bring it back in, bring it back on track eventually. But yeah, I have to pay respect to them, because it's a brave thing to let someone else go off and you're stood on stage, and you don't want eggy moments either, do you?
No, definitely not. And as you say, when you've got a fantastic cast around you, they know that you're going to bring it back. It might be 2 hours later, but they know you're going to bring it back to the
Yeah,
script
exactly, exactly.
again.
Talk about bringing it back. Let's bring it back to that coffee chat. My daughter's just walked into this
All
kitchen,
right,
started
yeah.
making a coffee on the very same machine that I said I won't make a coffee because it'll interrupt the podcast. So if it does get a bit of go on, you make one. Go on, make it. Gary won't mind. Go
No,
on.
you carry on, love. We
Just
don't
carry it.
mind.
We'll do it like a kitchen scene in a panto. There we go. There'll be a load of noise and clattering and banging, and we'll stay on track. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, I'll do exactly what I do with those people I'm just telling you about. I'll stay focused and she can make you coffee. Go on, crack on.
Just don't turn that mug around, for goodness sake.
Yeah, don't turn the mug around.
Steve, tell me what it's like to go back to the same theatre every year. We speak to lots of people that move from theatre to theatre, but then we get a lot of questions from maybe people who haven't performed in pantomimes, who are like, does it feel like going back to home every single year again when you've been somewhere for so long? Do they know that you have your coffee first thing in the morning? You don't get the stage doorkeeper going, "Who's he?" Does it feel nice? I suppose they're asking,
It
really.
really, it really does. It really feels. It is. If you think about it, it is genuinely my second home. If
Mm.
you calculate that, if you include rehearsals plus the pantomime run, 6-7 weeks a year, I'm in that building. So you add that up over 20 odd years. I've done. Don't God,
No, don't
do the
work it
maths.
out.
You do the maths. Do the maths. Is that a year? Yeah, 10, 17. It's a long time, isn't it? It's a lot. It's going on towards a whole year in the building. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've got so much. And listen, I am very, very lucky. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate that I'm in one of the most beautiful, and this is genuinely acknowledged by everyone. It's one of the most beautiful theatres in the country as
Yeah.
well. I
Totally
think
agree.
I might feel different if I was going to some concrete building in the sense, you know, no disrespect for those kind of venues. We need all kinds of venues are welcome in our industry, but to go into a building that's so beautiful and ornate, I mean, I genuinely never get bored in rehearsals, even the tech runs, because it's just an entertaining building. And what I mean by that is so much artwork. Even now, after 22 years, I'm still discovering new pictures, new, mosaics on the walls, not mosaics, plasterwork and stuff like that I've never seen before. And I'm just so lucky to be in the building. And then you've got to remember as well, I started off, my original plan was to be a history teacher, and I went to university and studied history. I have a genuine love for history as well. So you combine the two, being in a historic building, and I almost feel I can't walk. There's some steps that go under the stage at the Blackpool Grand Theatre, and so you can access the other side of the stage. And every time I go down the steps, I always think about the people who've been there before. Some of the names, even Dan Leno himself had walked down those steps. You know what I mean? All the big names that have passed. I think your more recent ones like Les Dawson, Ken Dodd, any of these comics and legends of theatre who've walked down those stairs. So it's a privilege to be in the building. And long may the building live. I mean, it's credit to the people who kept it, because you've also got to remember in the early 1980s, it was a bingo hall, turned into a bingo hall, and then was going to be demolished. I mean, the thought of that beautiful building now laying in ruins would have been, and it did happen to an awful lot of theatres. Let's not forget that as well.
And it's just had the front all done up as well, hasn't it? Had that beautiful sign put up how it was originally. It looks fantastic. If anyone's not there, I can't rave about it enough. You've got to go just to see the building.
It's brilliant. The sign, it just says Grand across the Grand and on the top of it. But annoyingly for me, I recently took up, just to relax, because I am my mind's always working, and to relax me, I started taking up watercolor painting. And the other week, I actually, when the sign was done, I thought, oh, do you know what? I've never painted the Grand Theatre. I'll go. So I started to do it. I tried to do that lettering, and anyway, it's in the bin. I never finished it. I will do. I will get round to finishing it. I was so disappointed with it. I only spent one night doing it, but I spent all night with it, trying, going around the pencil, then cover it. And I looked at it, I stepped back and went, that looks awful.
Steve, you have the power to tell them to take the sign down, and then they can put it back up when they finish the painting.
Right, yeah. Maybe I'll do a more historical picture. Do it for the night. I mean, look, maybe I'll do it as it was when it was a bingo hall.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Bingo's slightly less letters than the Grand. There's not that many letters, are there? But I don't know why. I don't know why it was the lettering that caused me so much problem. But
Steve, talk to us about Panto and your favourite story that you get to tell at Christmas in these Panto stories. A lot of people say Cinderella, but do you like the newer titles that we're getting a little bit more now? Or do you think it's something to keep traditional, the Cinderellas, the Sleeping Beauties, etc.?
Do you know what? I think if you'd asked me this question maybe 5-10 years ago, I'd have stuck with the traditional answers. I love the traditional pantomime, but having been involved, particularly this year in the Easter pantomime doing Wizard of Oz, it's at the end of the day, you're just creating a children's story and adding a bit of humour for the adults as well. And so it doesn't really matter. This year we're doing Beauty and the Beast. Now that was a new one to the Grand. The last time we did, I think it was 7 years ago that we last did Beauty and the Beast at the Grand Theatre. And it was the first time UK Productions had ever done it. So we're giving it's a fresh script. And there's something quite exciting about doing something for the very first time. You have no influences for a start. There's no one coming in, because usually there's, whether it's the producers or director who's seen the previous year's, but they say, oh, this worked really well last year. And that's so... And you have to, you accept that. But when no one's got that, when you're totally from a clean canvas, it is quite exciting. And like at the end of the day, you just, like I said, just entertaining kids and families. And so I don't think it really matters. But if I had to nail down one pantomime as my favorite, I think every comic says the same about Cinderella. And having got the award now for it last year, I suppose Cinderella is undoubtedly one of my favorite. It's funny because you actually feel like you're proper acting. Do you know, you really feel that
Yeah.
proper, because there's a lovely moment where with Cinderella can't go to the ball and you're comforting her, helping her. And the other is you're just generally just an idiot. You know, all the other parts, you know what I mean? You're just stupid. You just come on, be stupid. And half the time, you've got no point in the plot whatsoever. You could, it's ridiculous, really. Probably the comic is probably the most essential. Comic and Dame are probably the two most essential parts in pantomime, but comic especially has got absolutely no use in the plot whatsoever.
No.
I don't think I've ever given an important plot line in my life.
No, it's interesting. We were speaking to Andy Ford the other day, and he said exactly the same thing that, Buttons, he felt like he was acting with it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
all the others, and I agree, coming from a Dane background as well, that we could just be taken out, really. And it
Mm.
would make no difference whatsoever, apart from the humor, obviously, which makes the whole, we know why we're there.
That's
But
what I suppose that's what pantomime is, isn't it?
yeah,
That's the whole point of it, isn't it? But it's funny talking about Buttons, because I always used to say, when years ago, people say, "Hey, you've done pants for a few years now." He said, "When are you going to pack in?" And I said, "I'll tell you when I'll pack in." I said, "When I go on stage and I say, I love Cinderella, me," and the whole audience do a big intake of breath, going. Because this year there was like a 25-year age, I think even long, maybe even a 30-year age gap between me and Kitty Harris. I'm going. So I actually said to the producers this year, "Look, can I not have been like a dad's friend and I just look like an uncle figure?" They went, "No, the love of Buttons and Cinderella's is key to the whole story." And I said, "Right." I said, "Well, I'll do it." I said, "But when I go on," and I like to think this is why I got the award, is because the first thing I said about, "I love Cinderella, me kids," and then waited for the intake of breath. I looked at somebody in the audience, "Don't start giggling. Can I just say it's just a character I'm portraying? I'm not a wrong un."
fair, fair. It is true though, isn't it? Because a lot of
I
places,
am well aware of the age gap, I was saying.
a lot of places want to get rid of that, little storyline for Buttons and Cinderella now. But it is important in the grand scheme of it. And you say, especially from a comic, I suppose it's the same as when dames play sisters. It's the one time we get a bit of juice behind it, isn't it? In the story,
Mm.
don't say anything inappropriate.
Yeah. I think that's the when you talk about the ugly sisters there, I have to think that some of the drag acts that are appearing now a lot more into pantomime, coming and taking on the roles of dames, they seem to do so well because it fits in with the drag persona. Like a lot of the, you watch the RuPaul Drag Race and things. It's a lot of that bitchiness and that snide comments and stuff like that. It fits really well into the pantomime mode, which is nice to see the two mediums finally getting together as opposed to Dame just being a man in a dress. Although I do still like the man in a dress.
Yeah.
A bit the Les Dawson style of Dame. But this is this again. It's about the creative process, isn't it? It's always good to experiment with all the different forms. So I'm not averse to one or the other.
And this year, Steve, you're being joined by another Blackpool sort of legend, aren't you? This year as
Yeah,
well.
funny enough, I went
Which,
to see
since we were talking about it, let's bring her up.
yeah, well, I actually went to see a show 2 nights ago, Betty Legs Diamond. And a show was brilliant, actually. It was at the Showboat in Blackpool, another venue. And you don't realise how much he's done in his life as Simon, who plays the Betty Legs Diamond. So I think 3 or 4 Royal Variety performances in West End shows, and it was quite fascinating to see, to learn about his history and stuff like that. But in Blackpool, particularly, the funny thing is, I think nearly every single year we give a reference to him. We'll say, maybe to the Dame or something. Oh, it's Better Legs Diamond or something. There's usually a reference to it for the local people anyway. But to actually have her in the show this year is fantastic. Yeah, I'm very excited about it, and so is she. To be honest with her, we were chatting the other night, and like I said, loads of ideas, and we went along to the show to try and think, oh, that'll work, that won't work.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, a drag act a lot won't. But it's about utilizing people. Sometimes it's about watching people like that and seeing beyond what they actually do for the normal show and just acknowledging actually, you know what, there's small elements that you know that you can, like entrances, each little sly looks and things that she does that you think, you need to incorporate that into the pantomime.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant link up that you two are going to have this Christmas. And if you can get to Blackpool this year, go and see it. It's going to be fantastic. And so is the rest of your cast. We mustn't forget about everyone else as
Yeah, we
well,
got Bart
obviously.
Bailey's, Kitty Harris.
Yeah.
I did find out who the beast was this week, but somewhere a lad from the West End, but I can't announce his name yet.
No.
It's not official. But we were finally fully cast.
Yeah.
I found out this week. So yeah.
Yeah, and we're doing Beauty and the Beast in Wellingborough this year as well, which is a first title for, as you were saying, is the first time
you've done it.
Yes, so we're really excited. It's going to be, it's a nice newer story, but it's an old traditional, if that makes sense. We contradict him, but in Panto terms.
I mean, let's be honest. We all have a lot for Disney to thank and to be angry with for certain titles. I think they've always seemed to avoid Jack and the Beanstalk, and it's been a long. I've done Jack and the Beanstalk once in 22 years, and Dick Whittington once in 22 years at the Grand.
Oh, really?
And I think the logic behind it is because Disney have never done it, and Disney just make everything so much bigger. So in terms of people's, acknowledgement of the title. So that's why they always tend to be Sleeping Beauty, things that have been Disney films in the past.
Yeah.
So who knows? So if Disney are listening, make a Dick Whittington and make a Jack and the Beanstalk, and then we'll get it back on the stage again.
We can get it back in Panto again. Now, Steve, as you're here, I can't let you obviously go without chatting about your BGT experience that we all saw and enjoyed. We were all rooting for you, and it was a strange series because you were the COVID year, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I actually talk about this in my act nowadays. It was a crazy year to do it, 2020. A crazy year to do anything, wasn't it? But to choose to do, people always say, people say, well, what was it like as an experience? And I suppose it was unique. At least I got a unique experience. It's had its highs and lows that year. For one point, it was the only time I got to perform that year. So for me, the excitement that you see on stage is genuine joy. And I know I got emotional, especially in the semi-final, when I finally got on stage after 6 months of struggles, etc., 4 months of struggles. It was a release, really, to finally get in front of an audience, albeit just an audience of 500 Zoom screens. That was it. Yeah. I do joke in the act about, the semi-final in particular. I talk about the audition. I said that was in front of, 2,500 people because there was no sign of COVID at the time. I said it was filmed in January and February, so I got me a standing ovation before yesterday from the judges, and they let you know quite soon afterwards if you're in the semi-final. So I knew I was in the semi-final, but you have to keep it secret. And normally the secret's over and done with at the end of May, because that's when they do the semi-final and final week. But of course, when it went on the telly, everyone was in lockdown. It got record viewers for the first episode, but then I had to keep the secret for months because they didn't even know they'd finished the series. And then when they told me, I usually, it's a lovely moment in my act at the moment. I talk about the semi-final. I said, so I went down to London and I said, and all I had to entertain were 500 Zoom screens, 500 people watching at home, just nothing, no feedback from them whatsoever, just the 4 judges, no atmosphere in the studio. It prepared me for tonight because everyone goes really quiet at that moment. I just let the silence just rest a little bit. They go, prepared me for tonight. And then I listen. This is not a genuine comment. It is just me joking. But I do actually say, I said, if you did watch me, I said, I was the only act in 2020 who got through to the final with a unanimous decision from all 4 judges. And I usually get a cheer. And I go, oh, hang on. I said, yeah. Let the cheer pause down. I said, I beat a 10-year-old dancer and a 12-year-old singer. And you will never know the joy of coming off stage, seeing 2 kids crying because of you.
Oh, I love it.
Which is cruel, but it's funny. But the other thing, I have to interrupt you there, but the other thing I always comment about is genuinely what my mum said when I came off stage in the final dragged on till October that year, and having come third, I thought I'll phone my mum and dad because I knew they were watching it. the live fight. It was all live, you know. And so I phoned them up as soon as I come off stage. They couldn't believe that I was, because it was still on the telly, and I'm phoning my mum, and she's like, "Oh, you've done ever so well." She says, "What do you win? What do you win?" And I said, "Well, you don't win anything, Mum." I said, "Not for third." I said, "First place, you get £250,000 and appearance in the Royal Variety." I said, "Nothing for third." And she went, "No, no, that can't be right, Stephen. Go and ask." And then she genuinely said to me, "That's ridiculous." She says, "Even in the church raffle, you get bath salts." I thought, how great would that? I mean, I'd love it. I've not spoken to Simon Cowell about this, but I think that would be a great idea if he did just decide to give the third place some bath salts, just in
That's brilliant.
recognition. It'd be
I
great,
love
wouldn't
that.
it?
You know what you did win? Another 22 years at Blackpool Grand pantomime.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So there is that. Yeah.
Oh, Steve, we've
Absolutely.
nearly come to the end already. I can't believe how fast it's gone, really. But with this series, we're doing a bit of a quick game of called This and That, and we just want you to choose which one you'd go with in the world of pantomime. So we'd love to get
All
your
right. Okay. I like that.
on this.
Yeah. Yeah. Go on.
So for the interval of a pantomime, would you go for ice cream or would you go for sweeties?
Oh, that's a good one. I think ice cream traditionalists, but then wooden spoons. Oh, if they had a wooden spoon, I'd probably go for sweets. I don't. It's you know what?
It gets
Oh no, I don't like that. Yeah, it's weird.
yeah,
Why is that? Why is that? It's like
yeah.
them
It's like, but it's
wooden.
like those paper spoons you get now. It's
Yeah, yeah.
plastic.
It's not right. Don't feel. Yeah,
No.
no. Don't get me started.
Flashing lights, would you buy or would you buy a program?
Or program.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we all
program
said that.
definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Which is better, Christmas Eve shows or Boxing Day shows?
Oh, that is a good question. Oh, that is a very good question. Because sometimes Christmas Eve shows can be the cast are all anxious to get onto family. You're going, "I want to enjoy this because this is really exciting." Because I
Yeah.
live quite near, it's not. They've got to get home, so they're always a bit rushed. I think I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go Christmas Eve. I'm going to go Christmas Eve. The Boxing Day audiences tend to be so full and so tired that they're not always as brilliant as you expect. But there's always I always go on the Christmas Eve show, and I always say it's certain this. They always do a morning and afternoon, and the afternoon one, of course. By the time that they're going in the theatre at 2 o'clock, when they come out, all the shops are shut. So I always start by going, "Look, stop worrying about it. There's
Yeah.
nothing you can do now. Enjoy the show."
Yeah.
There's nothing you can't be buying. There's no way you can nip to after this. If you forgot your sprouts, you forgot your sprouts. That's it. Done.
It's too late. It's too late.
Yeah. So I'll
Stage
go
left or
Christmas Eve.
stage right, Steve?
Oh, do you know what? Ask any director who's worked with me. This still confuses me to this day. I'm always going, is that when you look at it? I'm going to go.
As we would say, from the actor's point of
Yeah,
view,
from the actor's
Steve.
point, stage left. I don't know why. I stage left. I didn't do it. I think it's because it's the nearest to the dressing room at the Grand. So I'm going stage left.
That's what I say. I know it's the bad size, but it's closest to my
Yeah, I
dressing room, so
know.
I'd
I
rather
know.
go on stage left.
Most of my entries is like you say, because you're good on stage right. And it really, but I do get to go down those steps that I
Yeah, you get to reminisce down the steps each time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting one. Would you always want to play a goodie, or one year do you want to play a baddie?
I did get the opportunity to do baddie in the COVID year because we did that socially distanced one in Blackpool. It never actually went on stage, but we filmed it, and it was very challenging. I think, yeah, I wouldn't mind having a go at a baddie one time. Yeah,
Baddie again.
I think I prefer baddie to Dame because I just think so much hard. What you guys do as Dame, honestly, just the makeup applying and all that. It seems like so much effort.
Yeah. Act 1 or Act 2, Steve?
Oh, I'll have to say Act 2 because it's always a song sheet and it's always my favorite because you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
especially when you get the kids up on stage. That's the highlight for me. Usually, only because it's so different to the rest of the show. You get if you get one of those kids who are just really talkative or really funny, then it just makes the whole show. It's ridiculous, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
they're the ones it's all about.
I agree. And when we didn't have it during COVID, and when we were coming out of it, that was the thing that I think we missed the most.
Yeah, it was so
loud audiences or quiet audiences, Steve?
Oh, always loud. Yeah, I'd always have a loud audience. I don't mind even a bit of background noise because I'll always reference it. It'll never bother me.
A 10 a.m. show or 6 p.m. show?
or 6 p.m. or 10 a.m. shows. Oh, has anyone said they prefer a 10 a.m.?
I think there's been one person, I'm not going to say who it is, but I think
Really?
there's one person who said a 10 a.m. show.
I don't know.
And it definitely wasn't Andy Ford, I can tell you that.
Was it not? I was going to say Andy might have had to get back to his home, back to the care home from the shots at
Oh, bless him. Here's a question for you. We kind of know the answer. Tea or coffee?
Coffee. Oh, well, again, you know. But I'm going coffee on the general side. Yeah, I'm going to go coffee.
Okay. And finally, Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty?
Oh, Cinderella, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just, I can't be doing with that non-activity. Just lying there.
It's a great role, though, isn't it? You get the headline.
It's just a lazy role. It's ridiculous.
I think it said something I read interestingly. We go back to Disney again, unfortunately, but I'm sure it said something like that she only has 12 lines in the whole film, Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that is intriguing.
Which probably in Panto, she's probably not far off.
It's a weird one, Sleeping Beauty, because when we do it in Blackpool, it's a lot more. There's a lot of filling you have to do. So in some respects, it's brilliant because you do lots of skits and sketches to pad out the story, because there's not much to the story. She falls asleep, she gets kissed, and she wakes up again. That's it, really. There's not much to it. So there's a lot more that you have to throw into the show that you don't have to. And it's always the one that we have to pad out a little bit more for time. You know what I mean?
Speaking of time, because I make it quite clear always, we don't pay for Zoom, so we only get 40 minutes. So Steve, I can't thank you enough for joining us here on the Panto Archive. It's been a pleasure to have you here, and congratulations once again on your award-winning performance last year.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
And this is a news for Steve at the same time. We're going to add you to our comedians page as well, so you're going to have your own section on the Panto Archive.
Fantastic.
It's going to be, really good. So anyone who wants to read more about Steve's past life in Panto, go on to the website now and you'll be able to see all those many years of Panto.
I am honoured. But even though it makes me feel old.
Yeah, fair enough. Thanks, Steve.
Cheers. Thanks, Gary. Bye-bye.
And we'll see you all again very soon. Ta-da, ducks.